Hi there and welcome. Do you think it's possible to discover what your financial mindset is? And once you've discovered it, do you think you may have the guts to rewrite your new financial destiny? And what role do you think that your mindset plays in wealth creation for you? And what do you think is the most common misunderstood idea in wealth creation that when it is finally understood, it can completely change your financial life for the better, forever? Stick around to the end of this video to find out the answers. Now, what you need to know for this video to make sense to you is this: the way that you think and talk to yourself and to others about money directly affects your abilities to both attract money and manage the wealth once you get it. For almost 20 years, with many thousands of hours of study and having spent at least $100,000 in personal and self-development and putting it all into practice, I have learnt an awful lot and I've created a lot of money, and now I wish to pass on all my knowledge and experience to you in this video and many others to follow. So let's get started. We reveal your current financial reality that has been filed and locked away in your mind. Then we show you how to rebuild your new financial destiny. So, in this video, for free, I'm going to show and reveal to you and the people of the world with very straightforward simplicity, and it is all backed up with real life evidence, the real reasons why almost the entire bulk of the population on Earth is stuck in some form or level of financial struggle, lack of enough money, or living in poverty. Then, near the end of this video, we'll start to briefly go into the basics of how a person can realistically begin to start remedying any of their unwanted or negative financial outcomes that they are having with money. So, let's get started. Once you start looking around you and understanding this information, you too will start to see that it is all very plain, very obvious and very clear evidence that concerns the different levels of income that any person will or should expect to receive, depending on what type of financial or monetary language they speak. Firstly, you might not know or be aware of this just yet, but every single word that you speak, either positively or negatively about money, or for that matter on any subject, they are all extremely powerful, and your words, determine all the outcomes you are having in your life. Your words and thoughts, whether you are thinking them internally or saying them out loud, they are just as if you are speaking them out loud to the world with a large megaphone speaker. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in a situation or in a room where you haven't said a single word, and someone in the same room knows exactly what you're thinking? This is what I'm talking about. Additionally, each word or sentence of any human voice has a certain level of frequency, intention or vibration. Now, in very general, non-scientific, simple terms, each word and sentence operates on various different levels of frequency, pitch of either a low, medium or a loud vibration. Here are some common examples of sounds, vibrations or frequencies that many people can easily relate to. 1. A happy and content cat purring on a chair or a sofa. 2. Your favourite song being sung by someone with a guitar or piano. 3. The crashing, pounding waves of the ocean on the rock face. 4. The loud crack of thunder after a lightning strike. Just like all of these very well-known sounds, so do all the words that you think or speak. They vibrate out into the world with varying levels of intensity, either low, medium or loud. They reflect and vibrate all your thoughts and beliefs out into the world. Have you ever heard the phrase, "Be careful of what you wish for"? This is yet another example of the power of words. It is just like the mirror reflects back to you the image of you on your bathroom wall. Thus, so do the words and language that you think and speak inside your head, and the words that you say out loud to others about money. They too all reflect back to you. This all happens on a continuous, second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, month by month, and on a yearly basis. Your words simply reflect themselves straight back to you into your real life mirrors in your home, and they will directly reflect your actual financial reality to you as it is. In other words, whatever you say and think about money, those words which you are currently using will directly shape your financial outcomes. For the real life proof and evidence of what I'm saying to you, just have a look around you. Whatever it is that you see, it is simply just the combined reflections of all the words that you have been thinking and saying out loud to yourself and others up until this point in time. Here's some examples. If a person has constantly been talking to themselves and to others that they are always broke, or that they don't have or never have enough money, or that they cannot afford to buy or get whatever it is that they want. In doing this language, a person is sending out a very loud and very clear broadcast, a frequency, a vibration or signal to themselves and also to everyone else around them that they are broke, and as a consequence they will remain broke. Now, if a person always focuses and puts a spotlight on the facts that they never have enough money, they simply will never have enough money. In this first video, it is all about explaining the basic mechanics of what is actually happening to many millions and billions of people all around the world. And then in this and other following videos, we are doing our best and doing what we can to present as many solutions and ways of changing things for the better for many millions of people as we can. Now first, imagine a very low income family earning around the $20,000 to $30,000 or less per year. You will often hear them say things like, "We cannot afford that," or "We don't have enough money," or "You cannot have that," or maybe "You cannot do that thing because we don't have enough money." Now you can easily see that their whole language about money revolves around them both broadcasting and vibrating a poverty frequency out to themselves, others, and to their children. They will often talk about their fixed and scarcity mindsets and all their limiting and negative financial outlooks on and about their lack of money. You will constantly hear about what they lack, what they don't have, and what they cannot have, or what they cannot afford. The outcomes are: in 2025, the World Bank currently estimates that around 3.5 billion people are now living below the incomes of upper or middle income countries of the world. These 3.5 billion people are surviving on approximately $6 to $7 a day. When I first came across this information many years ago, that I too was unwittingly passing on a lack of and a scarcity about money to my own child, it was like a bomb going off in my head. On that day, I clearly remember that I had a very sickening headache and a terrible sinking feeling in my stomach. It was at that moment, many years ago, that I started on my own journey towards helping myself, my family, and others to have a better financial life. And to that end, I have greatly succeeded. At that moment, I also discovered the gut-wrenching facts that if you do not want your child to grow up in the financial struggle streets of life, it is the responsibility of each and every parent to pass on only positive thoughts, emotions, examples, and words about money to their children. In passing on these positive examples about money, then sometime in the future, the world that we all live in may eventually become free of financial poverty and hardship. So, by changing your language and the words that you use and that you broadcast to yourself, to others and the world about you, about money, can be your very first positive steps towards changing your and your children's financial situations and futures. Now, let us consider the financial words, thoughts, language, vibrations and signals that an average middle-class family speaks to itself and others about. Let's say they earn around the $70,000 to $100,000 plus joint income bracket per year. They say things like, "We have enough money to lead a good and decent life. However, we also know that money does not grow on trees. Otherwise, everyone would have a money tree in their back garden." They know that money can disappear just as quickly as it comes in. In a few minutes it can all be gone. So, as a consequence of this thinking, they jointly decide that they need to be very careful with all the money that they do earn, and they watch like a hawk all of their spending. Again, all their financial language vibrates and reflects out of them and into their current mirrors of life. They generally speak of their desires for financial security and stability. Yes, they do know that they can get, have and make more money. However, at the very same moment in time of them saying to themselves that they do have enough money and can get more, they are also very firmly and loudly broadcasting, reflecting, vibrating, and saying to themselves and other people and to the world that they do firmly consider money to be a very limited resource and that you do have to be very careful with it. So, right there, you have two opposing forces and viewpoints about money working directly against each other. Yes, life is not anywhere near as difficult for them as it is for a family that is living and trapped in poverty. However, they are still very loudly, firmly affirming, thinking and speaking out to themselves and the world that there is still a definite lack and scarcity of not being able to have enough money. They are again unwittingly saying and broadcasting to themselves, their children and others that money is hard to come by and that it still has to be worked hard for, and that you do have to be very careful with it when you do get some. They do understand the importance of money, about budgeting and about saving up for buying and having things at a later point in time. But because of all their very firmly and deeply rooted beliefs about money, which steadily have been growing deep into their minds and brains from childhood and into their early adult lives from their parents who taught them about money, the difficulties of them getting more money and the overall general scarcity of money keeps on going, because that's what they've been taught. The results and outcomes are that it is far more likely for them to focus on, aim for and achieving only very limited financial goals. And until their mindsets, their language, vibrations and signals change about money, they will continue to experience quite a few financial limitations. Now, let us look at an upper middle class family that yet again has another whole new broadcast language a mindset, their vibrations and signals on the subject of money. They will often say to each other, to their children, family and friends, that they have plenty of money. The husband and wife are probably earning around the 200 to 300,000 each, or about 400,000 as a joint income bracket per year. They both consider themselves to be very fortunate and very well off. They are both very grateful that they have so many financial options. Their whole financial language, their vibrations and signals, and the words that they use to themselves, to their children and to others, reflects out into the world a much larger and a much more positive abundance of money mindset. As a result, the clearly visible evidence and outcomes to all of this upper middle class positive thinking about money is, no doubts, they will live in a very large or a luxurious house in a very nice, safe and upper middle class suburb with many expensive items of furniture, and they will no doubt wear expensive clothing. Quite often they will have a large indoor or outdoor swimming pool. They and their children will own or drive several expensive cars. They and their children will already have gone to, or they are all attending some kind of expensive private further education, school or university. They all of them personally seek out and often are offered many opportunities for more financial growth, and they are always open and ready to accept new and bigger financial possibilities. They are all much more likely to vigorously save and invest a good solid percentage of their incomes and money very wisely for their own and their children's futures, and for their own retirement years, to make sure that they will all have plenty of money for all their later lives. They will buy and invest in good quality real estate as part of their investment portfolios. They will only take on very safe and carefully calculated financial risks that are very well thought out, and research that will further lead them to making more savings and more profits. That's the difference. Now, let's have a look at total abundance. Let us have a look at the languages, the signals, the broadcasts and vibrations that all multimillionaires, billionaires and trillionaires put out to themselves, to their children and to the world. They often think and talk about their very large businesses, their huge sales and profits, their latest acquisition of business assets and companies which they buy, operate and sell for large profits. They think about and then take very big actions. They make very calculated and safe financial risks to make themselves even bigger financial profits. They focus on creating huge value for their customers. They often solve huge problems that will benefit many people. They make huge profits. They often talk about leaving a legacy of lasting positive impact. They focus their minds and energies on making huge financial profits. The highly visible, undeniable evidence, results and outcomes of total abundance. They will usually have several or many multi-million dollar properties, cars, a private jet and or a luxury yacht, and they also talk about the legacies that they want to leave to their families and others. Their words, language, vibrations that they use and broadcast about money is the complete and polar opposite to people who are living in a lower or middle or upper middle class income situation. Now, for the last decade and more, I have studied and learnt about the mindsets, the thoughts and belief of many hundreds of multimillionaires, billionaires and trillionaires. And they are in no way, shape or form limited by any scarcity of money whatsoever. They live 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, surrounded in and live in a total and utter abundance of money and assets. They have so much money that they often do not know what to do with it. Millionaires and billionaires, just by pure definition alone, are money magnets. Money just flies and attracts straight towards them on a constant 24 hours a day. They have many different forms of income and they own and run quite a few businesses. They have their money earning high interest in many different ways. They have many millions or billions of dollars in their bank accounts. They have a huge amount of liquid cash or several credit cards on hand with no set limits on their person. For example, a multi-millionaire or billionaire can and often do walk into any expensive car dealership of their choice and buy a multi-million-dollar car without even batting an eyelid. Money comes to them from many places and sources. Whatever money they spend, it just comes straight back to them in some form or the other. So, as you can plainly see, there is without any shadow of any doubts a very common sense and direct logical link in the ways in which you think and talk and the results that you are currently getting with money in your life. In conclusion, if you are broke, unhappy and stuck in either poverty, financial struggle street, or you just cannot seem to get ahead with your $100,000 a year income bracket, with your mortgage and cost of living crisis or situation that you're in, and you so desperately want to break free and rise up into either the upper middle class $300,000 to $400,000 per year income bracket, or maybe you have dreams and aspirations to become a multi-millionaire or multi-billionaire. Please realize, to achieve these types of income levels, you first have to start thinking and talking about and taking actions towards making the profits that these people talk about and make. It is as simple as that. You have to first start thinking about and then talking about making a much larger income and profits. Then you have to start taking actions towards achieving your chosen income bracket. And by you speaking this type of language and taking actions, you will eventually arrive at your chosen income level. It's that simple. That's how they do it and have achieved it. So first, write down your goals and plans and how you're going to achieve them. Then take daily actions towards achieving them. That's how you do it. Now, here is how you can start the process of rewriting your financial story. You simply start and bit by bit start changing all of the language that you are currently using about money. It is the very first step that you have to start doing in the right direction of starting to change your financial story. Start your journey by firstly becoming very aware of all the negative words, your thoughts and phrases that you have about the scarcity or lack of money in your life by writing them down all in a journal or a notebook. Then, bit by bit, start replacing any and all of the negative words or self-talk that you have become aware of about money with new positive affirmations and outward talk about money to yourself and others, such as, here's some examples. I am very grateful for all that I have. I am very grateful for having my husband, my wife, my children in my life. I am grateful for my good health and for theirs. I am very grateful for all the money that I do have. Basically, what I'm saying is start writing down and being very grateful for anything that you can find or think of that is real to you. Being grateful for what you already have starts opening the doors for you to start receiving more. Start saying to yourself things like, I'm a magnet for money. I am so lucky to be alive. I am grateful for all the money that I will receive today and in the future. I am happy to give away some of my money to help others who are not as fortunate as I am. Start looking for and start focusing on creating and having abundance and good financial opportunities that will further add to or advance your financial status in life. Start believing in your own abilities to create financial freedom. Remember, your words have great power. If you choose and use them wisely, after a period of time, new and better things and more money and better work opportunities will start coming your way. I wish you good luck on your journey to a better life. If you have found this information in this video helpful and useful to you, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, and please give it a thumbs up and like to help me with the YouTube algorithms, and then share it with anyone you know who is having financial troubles or struggles in life. My mission with this channel is to help as many millions of people as I can all around the world to have a much better and more abundant life, so that they do not have to suffer as I and many millions of other people have suffered through not having the correct information about money. So far, at the time of making this video in June 2025, Forbes.com, the official real-time trackers of the current list of millionaires and billionaires in this world, it states that there are approximately 3,028 billionaires and approximately 58 million millionaires. So, if you need any further proof or evidence that the millionaires and billionaires profit-based mindset that I've been talking about in this video really does work, please head over to Forbes.com to check out their lists. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end. If you have found this information valuable and interesting to you, and you would like to be notified of new videos that I produce, please click the subscribe, share and notification buttons. If you would like to find out more about our mission, which is Wealth for the Workers Crossword Profit Share Team, please head over to our website www.wealthfortheworkers.com. Wherever you are in the world, we wish you all the best in life and hope that you will work towards having a much better and more abundant life. Kind regards, Derek.